Right. Welcome to STO Psych. I'm Stephen Downey, a clinical psychologist from Australia. Today, we're going to be looking at a breakdown of another Reddit post. Haven't had a look at it as yet, but the idea here is I will do kind of what I normally do. I'll read through the whole article and then break it down at the end. Feel free to submit things if you want me to review something. Doesn't have to be from Reddit, it can be from anywhere in the comments, and I'll do my best to get around to that. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more like this. The plan for today will be, well, what we normally do, we select whichever is the top one that is not an update or something like that. So it looks like it's this one here, quite short. And also it's maintenance day. I'm into the office today, and it's so we may get interrupted by a blower back at some point. We'll see how we go. All right. Am I the hole? Am I the asshole? I refuse to give my ex's kids the car I bought for them after we split up. Was with this woman for 10 years, took the kids to Disney at the time, and other trips from Vegas to New York City as well. I loved the kids and treated them like they were mine. Anyway, we split up, and my ex moved in with a band dad she met at the girls' school. Well, after this, she asked if I was still giving the girls the car I bought for them. I said no, but not because of the split per se. More so, the girls posted pictures of the new guy over Instagram and Facebook, yet refused to respond to my text to take him out to dinner or just to catch up. Since they cut me out, I decided not to give him a car. Ex-wife is pissed about it and makes it a deal. In a way, I feel bad because I know they need a car, but I have a bad taste in my mouth because I feel like I was being cheated on, and I hate how the kids act like the last 10 years never happened. Kids 17 and 16. Okay. Well, short and sweet. So this is the shortest of the ones that we've done so far. How would you tackle something like this? So once again, we're in a situation where you don't owe anybody anything else, and it's odd to me that like the ex-wife is pissed about it and makes it I'm assuming a big deal. Why? Is she entitled to it? It's not her money by the looks of it. Yeah, like, okay, I know they need a car. You know what? Very few people in life have died from lack of a car. So, like, let's go with want rather than need at this point. They're 17 and 16, and they still have a primary caregiver, aka their mother, in their life. Yeah. Now, what am I interested in here? Okay. The part that actually draws my attention is this part here. More so, the girls posted pictures of the new guy over Instagram. I think ask is like an auto keyword or something, and it appears here, which it shouldn't, and same here. So I don't know if he's using like swipe to text or something, but ask just seems to be a high priority word. More so, the girls posted pictures of the new guy over Instagram and Facebook. It refused to respond to my text to take him out to dinner or just to catch up. And then I feel I was likely being cheated on, and I hate how the kids act like the last 10 years never happened. This, for me, I need more clarification, right? I want to know, does he mean that he was likely being cheated on by his ex-wife with the band member? Or does he feel like the kids were cheating on him as like cheating on his dad role by putting up the pictures over Facebook and Instagram, right? So I'd want some clarification there. I'm choosing to believe that for the purposes of this is most likely that he thinks that his ex-wife was cheating on him with the other band dad. That's got to be my charitable read, because the other one is a little odd to me. And it would sort of strike me as quite entitled if he felt like the children weren't able to accept another father figure on the basis of the 10 years that he put in to them. So yeah, I'd need some clarification around that, and that would be one of those questions. I would immediately respond to that with, oh, so when you say this, do you mean, and lay out the options as are in my head, and sort of let that clarification happen. Okay, since they cut me out, look, we're starting to expect a lot of maturity out of 17 and 16-year-old kids who his life has been sort of upended The children may over time come to see you as being the significant figure that you have been allegedly in their life, but I don't expect a great deal of maturity from 16 and 17-year-old children. Yes, it would be nice from time to time, but this is one of those situations of I would not have the children be the deciding factor as to what you want to do, because that's a lot of pressure on children. Something that sort of does come up here, and I do see from time to time in practice, is this idea. So, hate how the kids act like the last 10 years never happened, and love the kids and treated them like they were mine. This is common, and I'm not actually sure whether or not it's a mistake, right? So I would say that being a step parent is an incredibly tricky role to try to take on, because essentially you are given no rights or responsibilities. And I have spoken with many, I want to say ex-step parents who lose full access to the children regardless of the time investment. And it is a terrible experience. Like, it's bad enough when people have to decide like who keeps the dog or something like that. And I know of couples that have gone full on like custody agreements over a dog. But when it's children that is only belong to one party, and you've got like 10 years of investment in their life, and then all of a sudden they're just gone, and you realize that it didn't ever matter how much you invested in those children, you were never going to have that role that you were willing to take unless essentially they were formally adopted by you. So I think that's something that's a bit of a caution regarding step situations like this. I see it a lot. There's very real grief involved. It's a genuinely horrible situation to invest as if you were a parent, and to suddenly lose them with the relationship. Like, it doesn't just compound it. It seems to me that there's something a bit there's something different about the grief process when it's almost like it's immediately complicated. Maybe that's what I'm trying to get at, where you don't just lose your partner. It can feel in this like you lose your partner and your children in quite a final sense. Yeah, so that is just something that's incredibly rough. Now, you get to the pragmatics of this. What are you setting yourself up for, and what do you expect out of this in the future? And I say that from the perspective of, are you setting a precedent by buying a car for the children of your ex? Like, you don't want to become just a money supply in these people's lives. Either they made a connection and they want to invest in an ongoing connection, or they did not in fact make a connection, in which case, is this part of you prolonging your own grief processing by continuing to have this interaction, where your grief process might actually need to have that sort of cut experience so that grief can do its job? Grief tends to get complicated when it is delayed. And so in a situation like this, my concern becomes, is the grief process being delayed as it currently stands? I would say, looking at this situation, there's a high potential for this. I find very often when I'm sort of doing regular grief counseling with people, there needs to be those sort of final acts of a thing. So it's like your brain needs to have all of the messages agree this is over, at which point denial can't really do its job anymore of protecting you from that pain, and we rip off the Band-Aid, and now the brain has to go through grief and process the fact that this is no longer the same as it was before. What I find very often for people that have complicated grief is they will have this thing. It could be that they still have them connected on this one obscure social media app, and they never do anything on it, but they never cut it either. It can be as simple as that, but they have these I don't know, like maintenance things that stop the grief process, because for a while, grief is very, very painful. I've said before, the most painful experience that I think humans can experience. Your brain does not go through grief unless it has to. So for a while, it's got this tendril of hope to say, but there's still a connection there. It will essentially delay itself. So I'd be curious for this person as to whether or not this is partially an avoidance of their own grief pain by keeping this connection going when they kind of know maybe that that was the end, that was it. And the kindest thing that maybe they could do for themselves is to, if that is the case, I don't know that's the case, but if that were the case, to not interfere with the grief process. Generally speaking, for grief to process properly, there needs to be an end. And I have seen people go to virtually any lengths to deny that things have ended. So that would be sort of where I'd be looking at directionally for this kind of thing. Still haven't answered the question, are they an asshole? No, you don't owe your ex's children a car, particularly under the current circumstances. Yeah, and if your ex feels entitled enough to make a big deal out of that, that's sort of odd. Like, that just doesn't belong in this relationship. So that's roughly how I would approach something like this. Be cautious about, like I say, the grief aspects and so on. Yeah, would be worth sort of investigating that further. So, but at this point, yeah, a fairly rubbish situation. I feel for step parents who are put in this situation where they lose not only their partner, but children that they care about and have treated as their own. That can be a very painful experience. So, yeah. All right, that's all we've got for today. Nice short one. So hopefully that's been fun to do a bit of a breakdown. And I guess that's it for today. So take care of yourselves, and I shall catch you in the next one. See ya.